This your boy King Ed the Great coming at y'all with another video. Be sure to subscribe to Off the Cuff Radio. Hit that like button for me. Let's get these subscribers up. So I want to talk about the summer of 2001 in New York City. See, hip hop has been so asleep for me for the past several years that we haven't really had a memorable summer like that. The last memorable summer was probably 2015. But nothing matched 2001. The hip hop scene was like a jungle at the time. You had Mobb Deep versus Rockefeller. Nas was making his comeback and dropped that Stillmatic freestyle, going back at his critics when people thought Nas was done. He was going at Rockefeller, he was going at Cormega, he was going at everybody that thought that he was finished. Then what else happened? You had Cormega, he dropped The Realness the same day that Jadakiss dropped Kiss the Gang Goodbye. You had DMX dropping his Great Depression album. Ja Rule, he was picking up steam. But what those don't know, even though Nas and Jay-Z end up being the focal point, the original battle really was supposed to have been Jadakiss versus Jay-Z. Let's think about it for a minute. Jadakiss and Jay-Z was what the streets wanted at first. The mixtapes was up there. You used to see the Jadakiss versus Jay-Z tapes. Jay was throwing subliminals. Styles P was throwing subliminals. 3 cuts on your eyebrow trying to wild out. And then on the Reservoir Dogs joint where I broke down what Styles P was saying about Jay, it was all subliminal. But another thing that a lot of people don't think, I think that Jay-Z was kind of like trying to either troll Jadakiss or try to halt his momentum, because if you really look at what was going on at that time, Jadakiss had did a remix with R. Kelly, the Fiesta remix. Jadakiss had done The Best of Me with Maya. Jay-Z comes right after him. He comes right after him. And you know Styles P, he was eager to get at them dudes anyway. Going by what happened with Reservoir Dogs. He was already eager in the paint to get at them. So anyways, you hear more of that on the Kiss the Gang Goodbye when he was going at Beanie Sigel. And that's where that whole thing with the Rough Riders and the Rockefeller started. And what's crazy is that this probably was the best battle. If Nas and Jay was Hogan and Andre, Jada and Beans will be considered Steamboat and Savage, because they stole the show. That's possibly the greatest battle I've ever heard, the greatest back and forth. Because you ask anybody who won that battle, you're not going to really get a clear answer. You're going to most likely get a tie. And then you had the crews getting into it. You had State Property getting into it. D-Block getting into it. It was a free-for-all. And the disrespect was crazy. The disrespect was so crazy. Then you had Jadakiss literally going to Philly and dissing Beans. I mean, you can look up them songs yourselves. Those dudes was going hard with the bars. I didn't know if anybody was going to get hurt. But that summer 2001 was something memorable, man. I mean, it was so much going on in hip-hop. But everybody would probably say that was probably the start of the decline, because that's when the sample laws started getting passed. That's where commercialism started really emerging. Payola was really starting to become more of a thing. But in comparison to how dead it is now, 2001 was looking to be considered a golden era in the New York rap scene. So much good music was coming out still. It wasn't compared to the 90s, but man, it was a dope time. I mean, from the mixtape scene, from the club scene, the culture, everything pre 9/11 was pretty solid. And even when 9/11 happened, Jay-Z, he still had the chops and he dropped the blueprint, which made him a legend. Followed by Nas when he came out with Stillmatic, and we know the history from there. But man, just thinking back almost 20 years ago, how crazy that summer was. Oh, and Summer Jam before it was gentrified, that was dope as well. That's where Jay-Z officially called out Prodigy with the ballerina. Then he called out Nas by name. Man, this era do not know. Y'all don't understand what y'all missed out on, man. So this is just a reminiscent of what was a great era, classic era. So look up those songs on YouTube, man. There's a lot of good music there. So this is King Ed the Great signing out. Holla at your boy.